What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Kakash Podcast. We are here today to take a look at the AEW Grand Slam Australia card. It is not officially a pay per view, so I keep wanting to say that, but I'm trying to catch myself. It will be airing officially after the NBA All Star special. That'll be airing on TNT. However, we do not know what time that will be. That is probably maybe around hopefully 10:30, 11:30. Um, yeah, who knows? Who knows? But at least we know what station to find it on, and you obviously can view it on Max as well. But I don't know if Max is going to be airing the NBA All Star game or if they're just going to, for instance, like if the All Star game ends at like 10:58, if Max is just going to have AEW Grand Slam just starting at 11. I don't know because I don't have Max. I don't know if TNT or any of their like television channels air on Max and how that transition would work. Um, which again is another reason why I'm like, why can't AEW just air it live streaming on Max, or even if you can't do it live, like immediately after it stops. For instance, why don't you, if it ends at 11 p.m. over there, like, why can't you have it air the second it ends over there? Just have it play here, if you can't do it necessarily live on the Max platform, which I don't know. I would think you would be able to since that is the idea going forward. But maybe things just haven't been meshed out in that regard yet. I don't know. But all I know is I'm sure AEW is just super happy just to get this shit done and over with and just move forward to Revolution and just not have to worry about this Australia nightmare, which is sad to say. For a while. For a while. I'm sure they will not be thinking about heading back to Australia anytime soon, which sucks. It sucks for the fans. It sucks. It's number one, first and foremost, and probably that's it. It sucks for the fans, and for the wrestlers too, because it's confusion for them and it's not a good look, right? But it's not their fault. But it sucks mostly for the fans who, like I said in a previous video that I did, just potentially lost out on a lot of money. It's more of an inconvenience for them if they're to buy tickets or hotel rooms at a specific area. Just all that shit really adds up, you know what I mean? So it sucks, but at least the shit is finally here. We can get it done and over with. And I do hope that people who are going and are able to still go are going to have a good time. And it did end up being a pretty stacked card for whatever show it's going to end up being classified as a special event, right? We did end up with five matches on the card specifically, which shows you right there too. It is not a pay per view because no pay per view for Tony Khan is going to be less than 8 matches, right? But we're going to get right into it because, like I said, there's not a lot of matches to get into, so don't want to waste too much time. But I am, just full disclosure here, I'm going to kind of pick I'm not going to even say unpopular, but choices that are most likely not going to come to fruition, but I think choices that would be fun and choices that I would do to just shake shit up. You know what I mean? A lot of these you can probably assume which way they're gonna go, but I say fuck it, switch some shit up. And I know it's probably even less likely because of the fact that this ship can be airing at 11, like I said, 11 p.m., maybe even later. So you're not gonna want to do, or you can make an excuse on one side for not wanting to do anything big or drastic or anything that you want a live audience and a hot audience to be ready for. Like you're gonna want your main core audience, right, in the North America area, to, as selfish as it is, to be able to watch it, right? And if especially if no one's making it a priority, especially with it being on a Saturday night, at that point, people are already going to be out. I'm sure there's going to be some people making it a priority to stay home and watch it. I will be out already, so I'll watch it probably on Sunday. Um, and I'll try to avoid. I mean, I'm not on social media that much, anyways. As you guys probably know. So sorry about that, but it's probably not gonna be that hard for me to avoid. But a lot of people are gonna already see the spoilers, which can be a good or bad thing. But I don't know, because I'm that person too. Like as crazy as it sounds, like even if I know what's gonna happen, I still want to see it, right? Especially if it was something awesome and it's getting a lot of praise and a lot of hype and things like that. So I don't even necessarily view that as a bad thing, but I totally get why you will maybe not want to pull the trigger on some of the stuff that I'm going to choose here, because you want it to be live and you want it to be hot and fresh, which again is what it is, and it's just one of those things where we over here on this side we kind of get spoiled. So and that's what I'm saying too. And in another way, also, you can kind of give the Australian fans a win, when something big that happens. I don't want this whole event to just be super predictable and have every single match be the predictable outcome. So we're gonna get right into it. That's just kind of my overview thoughts. And again, I'm not gonna get into all the bullshit and the controversy, and not even controversy, but all the nightmare surrounding it, because like I said, I did video on that, and I don't want to waste everyone's time. Just want to kind of keep a little positive here as much as possible, right? So we'll get in right to it. I kind of, yeah, I was debating on what order to go in, and also too, I'm wondering what the main event is going to be. I think you can, I don't even want to say make an excuse, but you can make a case to have Mariah May and Timeless Tony Storm main event, and you can open with the tag team match of Jay White and Cope, Adam Copeland versus the Death Riders. I think with that type of brawling match, you don't necessarily. I mean, you can in a show like that with that type of match, because you can have them end up the brawling end up back in the ring, right? But I just, and especially with what I would do, I don't know. I feel like you can use this as a good opportunity too to end one of your big shows, right? Your big special events with a women's match. So with that being said, I'm gonna say one of my predictions too is that Jay White and Adam Copeland are going to open the special event, the show here, facing off against the Death Riders, which of course is John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. I think they did a really nice job on the Go Home show of Dynamite this week. It was kind of funny that Adam Copeland was so eager to, he had Spike right there and ready to just bust open the briefcase and reveal the championship. And obviously kind of getting ahead of myself, but before, earlier in the show, in the Dynamite, it was actually kind of clever, like there's a clip where John Moxley and Marina Shafir were walking backstage. Marina was walking first, and of course she's the holder of the briefcase, right? The holder of the ring. And she was walking into this room, and she walked through a doorway, and Moxley was walking right behind her. I think it was Jay, or no, it was Edge. Adam Copeland. I was doing so good. Adam Copeland, who hit Moxley in the back with the chair. Pretty certain, unless it was Jay White, but it was definitely one of them. I'm pretty certain it was Adam Copeland doing all of it. Um, one of them hit Moxley in the back. Moxley, knocked him out, and then had it had to be, it was Copeland, right? Because then Copeland had grabbed onto the briefcase, and which was obviously on the chain that is handcuffed to Marina, shut the door, exposing the chain, which is pretty clever, right? So now the chain is on the outside of the door, but Marina, with the door shut, can't get to it, right? And can't pull the chain because the door shut. And in comes Jay White with the bolt cutters. He's like, "Watch your little piglies," which I thought was kind of funny. Watching your little fingers. And busts the chain. And the holders of the briefcase now are Adam Copeland and Jay White. They show them a little bit later on in the show, and again, props to them because it was a nice thread throughout the show. They show them about midway through, and Copeland was pretty much saying, "Moxley, if you want this back, meet us in the ring later tonight," which again was a nice thread and keeps you hooked, right? If you're into that, which I know, not going to get into the whole Death Riders and if the storyline and all that right now, because it's almost like a barking up the wrong tree at this point, because it's almost feel like the more we talk about it, the less likely it's going to change. So whatever. But I did like how, again, trying to stay positive, the fact that, like I was saying, they did this thread throughout the night, right? You had the beginning, the middle, and the end. So I thought that was a really nice touch and something that we don't get frequently. And I hope they do more of. Leading back to the main event, when Adam Copeland and Jay White got out there, they brought the briefcase into the ring. Adam Copeland had, I'm saying his full name, and it's annoying, like, first and last name, but because I just hate Cope, like I just, it's still like, just kind of makes me, I don't know why I dislike it so much. And again, like, I feel bad for disliking it so much, because if that's like a really cool nickname that he likes, like, I feel bad. Nothing personal, man. It's just, I can't. And it just feels weird calling him Adam too, because I don't know him like that. And then I can't call him Edge, so it's just a conundrum. But he was prepared and he had Spike. If you don't remember, Spike is, I think it's a baseball bat or a 2x4, or yeah, no, just a 2x4, just with nails built into the end of the 2x4. And if you notice, Adam Clippan was wearing a red flannel, which I think is a fun little callback to Cactus Jack. So I'm wondering how vicious and how brutal this match is going to be on Saturday. So they can either go the route of like a stadium stampede where it's just your kind of basic around the arena, around the stadium brawl, right? Or they can get really physical with this and get really nasty. And I just don't know what kind of tone they're going to take it, but I think with bringing out Spike, that could be a sign that they are leaning more towards the more physical route and the more like, like just crazy shit, that Moxley is known for, and of course there's gonna be blood and stuff like that. But I think that's why you also want to kind of open the show with this too, just to give it enough time to let it breathe and to not let the fans just, because this kind of match, especially with it being a brawl, it's gonna go around the arena. You're going to have not dead spots because that sounds harsh, but just spots where and again, not dragging either, but it's slowed down a bit because it's spaced out, right? So the audience's attention is going to be in two different areas. So with that, it's going to be, again, not harder, but you want to keep it hot, right? So that's why you want to do it first thing, and in my opinion, just kind of get it done and over with. And then you could follow up with a kick-ass match, which in my opinion probably throw on next would be Okada and Matthews. But officially for the Brisbane brawl match, I think you go with Jay White and Adam Copeland here, especially since we know Adam Copeland versus Moxley is going to be official at AEW Revolution. That was the whole deal with the briefcase too, right? Copeland pretty much told Moxley, if you don't come out here, and or give me my shot, right? If you don't give me my shot for the championship at all, almost said all in, at Revolution, I'm gonna destroy the briefcase. Which, why wouldn't he just do it? And he did start to do it, so props to him for at least still starting, But why wouldn't he just do it, man? Ugh, but it is what it is, because that the numbers advantage is gonna get to you, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, he got what he wanted. He got his championship match. They're gonna have their tag team match in Australia, so it was a win at the end of the day for Cope and White, right? But yeah, so officially, I think Jay White and Adam Copeland are gonna win there, and I don't think that's anything too surprising. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of matches ends up being. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm really curious to see how dangerous it gets. So we'll see. But like I was saying, next up, I think you can go Okada and Matthews, and this one, and this kind of starts my streak of probably like WTF picks. This match is gonna speak for itself, right? I'm very excited for this match. I think it's gonna be so good, and I just wish Okada was taking it, the character Okada was taking it a bit more seriously. But it is what it is. Eventually, hopefully, right, within the next few months, we'll get to that side of Okada again. And maybe this was the start of it. I don't know. I was hopeful for that for the Continental Classic finale, but that didn't happen. So it is what it is. I would love to see Matthews win here, and I think I say fuck it, like do it. And the same reason I was saying for the Classic tournament, do it for this one. Have Matthews win here. I know you're not going to, because Buddy Matthews is in a tag team at the Hounds of Hell, and yeah, Hounds of Hell, right? Yeah. um, and you want to focus on them as a tag team, right? And I get that, and the tag team division needs it way more probably than Buddy Matthews needs a singles championship. But I just think it would be really good, and why not have him potentially be? Because I don't necessarily even see them being the tag team champions anytime soon, right? Which sucks, but the focus seems to be on the Hurt Syndicate right now and what they're doing. And maybe in the future you can, but just not right now. I don't see the Hounds of Hell winning the tag titles. So why not put the title on Matthews, right? Especially being in his hometown. And I'm definitely one of those people who is not an advocate for doing shit just because that's where the person is from. But I think this one would be a surprise too. And I think it could really be one of those situations where everyone already has a big level of respect for Buddy Matthews, right? And cheers him, right? But I think pulling the trigger on him kind of maybe set off a nice little chain of momentum for him. So I say fuck it, why not? So my pick would be to shake shit up with this one, starting off here and putting the Continental title on Buddy Matthews. I know it's probably like 98% not gonna happen, but I say do it, man. It's kind of one of those things where my heart says Buddy Matthews, but my head says Okada's gonna win. So that's my pick for that. But again, most likely Okada will retain here. But I just say he's not really doing much with it anyway. And it's not like he's even on semi like bi-weekly or anything he being Okada. So why not? And Buddy Matthews has been getting more and more TV time, especially with Malachi Black not being there any longer, and again the Hounds of Hell kind of doing their thing. I would say why not? And I think it'd be a really good look for them as a tag team too. It would show that yes, they're not tag team champions, but you can't take them lightly. So I say do it, but we'll see. Next up, I would say go for one of your women's matches and do Mercedes Moné, your TBS champion, facing off against Harley Cameron. And I will say Harley Cameron has really won me over. I'm not gonna say I wasn't a fan of hers, but I just didn't really have an opinion of her one way or another before this feud with her and Mercedes started. And I will give both of them props, but especially Harley, because I never realized how talented she was, right? Which just makes the segments that much better, just all around. But the the little like music video that she did on Dynamite that led into and it kind of reminded me of Chris Brown's it was Chris Brown and Busta Rhymes Look at Me Now song. Kind of how she started it and then she sped up like did like a fast like like fast rapping type thing and then it kind of stopped. It just kind of reminded me of that. If you haven't heard the song, check it out. Let me know what you think. But I don't know why my brain went there, but when I was watching, I was like, "Yo, that's dope." And then she stopped the song, and then she got into her promo, and her promo really hooked me, man, and it really made me want to see her win. So I was already kind of toying with the idea of potentially like saying, like my pick being her, but this is another one of those that I say, and I was torn on this one because I can really make a case for having Cameron lose the match here and it be one of those stories where like it's almost the agony of defeat and it motivates her even more. And I'm not gonna maybe Revolution is too soon, but maybe Revolution would be a great follow up for it. So if they don't want to pull the trigger here, maybe they would soon after. But I just if they don't pull the trigger here by having Mercedes lose, then I don't see it happening anytime soon. And maybe it'll continue her reign will continue until All In, which I'm thinking it will. But I think it'd be really cool to have Harley win the championship here and kind of be the underdog and get the I don't want to see like a quick roll up victory or anything like that, but have her hit like a like fury of moves and then get the quick upset, like the quick upset win where she hits her move and she gets the 3 count, but Mercedes kind of recovers soon after that and it's just like what happened type thing. But after a hard fought match, too, I'm not saying like a quick like minute, 2 minute or anything like that, but 10-15 minutes, depending on how long the show is gonna go. I think you could really make a star here too, kind of like with Buddy Matthews, but I think even more than even more than Buddy Matthews or Harley Cameron. I think if you pull the trigger here and have her beat Mercedes Moné, that have you could really just have the build and the fan investment pay off, and have the fans and have us feel rewarded, right, for going on the quick journey, even though it's super quick with Harley's road to the victory. And I know it's probably even way too soon because she did just win her first match not too long ago, but I don't know, and maybe as I'm sitting here even thinking about it, going into it, I was like, oh yeah, Harley for sure, just because. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think the story with Harley, if she is going to be the one to dethrone Mercedes, I think the long game may be best for this one. And I think even though we will be in her hometown, I'm torn on if they would really pull the trigger. But man, like that fiery promo that she had and just the declaration that she was going to win in her home country, man, like she got me. So I think officially I'll go Mercedes retains here, but I think we could even see again a rematch as quick as Revolution, and I would not be surprised to see Harley pick it up there, which I know wouldn't pack the same punch as it would in Australia. And again, maybe even if I was Tony Khan, right, and I was like, all right, I know I want to put the title on Harley. It's just a matter of Revolution or Grand Slam. I would do it at Grand Slam, and then you can still have the rematch, but then have her retain, or depending on if you wanna have her win and then have it go right back to Mercedes. It would make more sense even to have her win at Grand Slam. So, man, the more I talk, the more I go back and forth. So I'm gonna say screw it too, and pull the trigger on this one also, and have Harley Cameron win. Again, I know it's not gonna happen. Probably even a 99.9% chance it's not going to happen on this one, even more so than Okada. But man, I just think, and Mercedes still has 3 other championships, right? Like it's not like she's going to be titleless. And again, they can even have the rematch as soon as Revolution, and Harley can win the championship right back. And I'm not really one advocating for doing the championships either, but it'd be fun to shake shit up too, you know? So it just keep everyone on their toes. But that's what, man. And I know it's probably not even the best idea, but I say fuck it. Just pull the trigger and reward Harley and just make her that underdog champion, right? Like just I don't know. There's just so many things you can do with it, and I know uh the long term I guess question would be too, is it going to mess up plans for like All In or anything? But I still think we're obviously so far away from All In. It's not going to hurt Mercedes to lose the championship here, and then even to win it back. Like I said, even within a month or two, and then go into All In as the champion and defend against whomever, whether that's Athena or whomever that will be at that time. So I say, why not, man? Just do it. And with the good show that AEW, like the good Dynamite episode that they put on this past week, the good collisions that we've had the past 2 weeks, and the good Dynamite from last week as well. So I would say the string of the last maybe 3 to 4 shows that we've had in totality, keep that little bit of momentum going, and really just get a buzz going and keep that buzz continuing on. So I say pull the trigger, man. But do I think it's actually going to happen? Probably not. But again, you don't want this whole card to just be super predictable. So I think especially in one of these championship matches, you have to have something unpredictable happen. So especially if you don't want to do it in the other 2 matches, do it in this one, man. But I don't know. And two, with all 3 of them being from Australia, I think that's even an easier layup too. So just take your pick, really. But man, I think I would love to see. Could even do a clean sweep, which is potentially what I'm gonna lean towards. But I say go with Cameron here, and again, doesn't have to be long term. But that leads us to Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega facing off against the Don Callis family, which of course is Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita. And with I this one I was leaning a little bit more towards Fletcher and Takeshita winning, because again Fletcher is from Australia, so he'll be getting a good reaction, you would assume. And I think you could really have a story coming out of this with Omega and Osprey, and you can have them go in and have a kick-ass match, and really, like wrestle and fight their heart out, right? Because it's just a regular tag team match. It's not a no DQ or anything. It's just a standard tag team match, as far as I know. So you can have them go in there and just really impress, but the better gel team, right? And then the team that gets along better and just has a better chemistry is Fletcher, or you would think, right? And storyline purposes, you would think would be Fletcher and Takeshita. So I think you could I think you could do something grimy by having Don Callis interfere in the last seconds of the match when the referees are looking, and have Fletcher pick up the 1, 2, 3. So my pick here is going to be the Don Callis family going over and getting the dub. But again, I would not be surprised if Omega and Osprey win, and if all my picks are just L's. But I say you gotta shake shit up, man. Just I don't know. It's not gonna end the world, right? Don't do dumb shit. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. I don't think my ideas or my picks are dumb. Maybe they're not the best ones, but none of these matches, regardless of either direction that they go in, would be terrible in my opinion. So why not? Now that leads us to Mariah May, your AEW Women's World Champion, facing off against Timeless Tony Storm. And man, oh man, I wish it was Mariah May versus Mariah May again, you know. Tony just bravo, girl. Bravo. You're amazing. And you just knocked it out of the park. But I am so looking forward to this match as well. At first, I was not thrilled with how Mariah. Shut up, Pixie in the back. I was not a fan of how Mariah May responded to Timeless Tony and kind of downplayed how first Tony pulled the wool over everyone's eyes, right? And how she was going, she had pretty much reverted to the rock star Tony Storm, and then and again, I will say too, for AEW's credit, I like the journey that they had Tony Storm go on, right? Going back to, and I'm sure it was her idea, had her going back to her own old Tony Storm ways, that Rockstar gimmick and all that, and then making a journey back to the title, and then reverting back into the timeless Tony Storm, and then revealing it was all a ruse, right? It was the, what she say, the greatest act ever told, or the greatest story ever told, or something like that. Whatever she said. Um, and then she transformed into Mariah May for that match, and I just think it was so well done. And Mariah May, she did the reaction that she had when Tony Storm came out dressed as her and wrestled the match as her, and just all the mannerisms and everything, just beautiful, man. It was very well done. So I was a big fan of that. But with this one too, I could see I could see them keeping the title on Mariah May because you have more, maybe you have more options, but I almost feel like you have better options with Tony Storm as your women's champion. So, like I was saying earlier, it may be kind of cliche, or maybe not the direction they're going in, having all the hometown heroes pick up the W here, and I didn't even intend for that. It was in the back of my mind for sure, especially with the Buddy Matthews one, but I think the totality with the Tony Storm and Mariah May story, you have, I'm not gonna say you have to, that's wrong. But it would make sense to put the championship back on Tony Storm, have Mariah May pissed off, and you can even run it back again at Revolution. Um, but I just think that Mariah really wasn't doing much with the championship prior. And I don't know, man. Like, I think it could even be fun too if Mariah May loses the championship, and they run it back in Revolution, right? And then maybe she loses again. And maybe she goes for the TBS championship after that. But I don't know. Like, just I to me, Tony Storm is still hitting on a lot of cylinders and still very much a fan favorite, and just captivating in the segment, right? Like, when she's on, you want to watch to see what she's doing. So I say take advantage of that while you still can. Yes, you can even make a case for what I just said there about her character not needing the championship. And if you have Harley Cameron win the TBS championship, you would have two face women's champions, which isn't ideal, right? And Mariah has been good with the as a champion, just the booking hasn't been best, right? Like, she hasn't had good feuds besides, because it's kind of been like a holding pattern until Tony Storm came back and until they were ready for this rematch. So that was kind of my displeasure for her reign and her run so far. But I'm not down on it completely. I'm not saying like, oh, just take the title off of her now. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna keep it on her, then really go forward with her, right? But I don't want to see both women retain. Like, have one of them lose is kind of where I'm going at, just to shake shit up too. So, and what better way to change both titles, right? But again, I probably wouldn't put money on my picks. So don't, guys, don't, if you're able to bet on these where you're at. But that's where I'm at. I would, and again, like, it's in all of those crazy picks that I just said are definitely not gonna happen, because they're not gonna want to do all that on a show that's not even airing during regular time frames. So at least on our side. But I don't know, man. Just do something fun to get people talking, especially because what other way to guarantee, or not guarantee, but potentially guarantee, right? And to gear people to tune in if they didn't watch it on Saturday, besides just being like, oh, okay, yeah, all the standard things happen, so I don't need to watch it. Make them go back and watch it, right? Because you can still get your 7-day numbers and stuff like that. So I say, why not take a chance? So thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate it. I will be live again this Saturday, so we'll kind of go in depth a little bit longer and a little bit more into the matches, and if anything else gets added between now and Saturday morning over on One True Sport here on YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern live. So feel free to check me out over there as well. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel here if you'd like the channel, as I say. But if you need to dislike it too, you can do that too. Just let me know in the comments why. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And until next time we go live here. But as always, guys, stay safe and enjoy some wrestling. Take care.